welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Quick update on transfer deals in and out, loan deals in and out of Celtic. As always, comes with a caveat that things at this time of year, with 1 week or so to go to the end of the transfer window, things change very rapidly. And so the news, as we are at 3 o'clock today, Wednesday the 24th of January. Who knows, in a couple of hours' time things may have changed quite considerably, but as I go to record this is the most up-to-date info that I have from a couple of hours trawling the internet for stories, rumours, confirmed stories, etc. So, breaking news this morning was that Atletico Madrid have entered a formal bid for Matt O'Reilly. It is a loan to the end of the season with an obligation to buy him in the summer. No mention of what the fee would be at that time. Also, Girona, the current leaders of the Spanish La Liga, and Inter Milan, one of the top teams in Italy, they're both said to have an interest, but neither has lodged any form of formal bid. I've had a good look at multiple sources from newspaper journalists, Celtic fan sites, etc. And the current indication is that the board and the club are going to reject any form of loan or purchase at this time for Matt O'Reilly. However, I think Celtic will be unable to resist similar deals in the summer. However, with there just being 1 week to go to the end of the transfer window, it would put Celtic in a rather awkward position of trying to get someone in at the last minute to replace him. However, there is an argument that if Celtic did have a fit Hatate, a fit McGregor, and a fit Bernardo, with backup from players such as Iwata, Home, etc., that we would be okay going forward in Scottish football to the end of the season. However, I think at all costs Celtic must reject any form of bid for O'Reilly until the summer at the earliest. I'm quite sure that, given the fact that O'Reilly signed a bumper deal just a few months ago, that it would be acceptable to him to finish off the season at Celtic with a guarantee of some form of transfer being confirmed in the summer to one of the top teams looking at him. On a similar topic, yesterday there were multiple sources saying that there were several clubs looking to loan Abada to the end of the season. Teams named were West Brom, Watford and Southampton, all in the English Championship, and some unnamed French and German teams. However, again, the multiple sources are saying that Celtic are going to reject any form of loan deal or transfer deal for Abada. He's said to be unsettled at the club, although it does appear that the board, the club, the management, the coaching staff, and the players are all desperate for Abada to stay. For what it's worth, Brendan Rodgers has said on a couple of occasions recently that Abada is happy at the club and wants to stay at the club. And when I first read the stories yesterday afternoon, I kind of thought that this feels a wee bit like Abada's agent is circulating stories looking for any form of interest for a loan deal or transfer away from Celtic. The crowd has welcomed him back with open arms and as I said earlier, Brendan Rodgers and the players have made a big effort to make Abada feel welcome back in the team, and also welcome when he was recovering from his prolonged thigh injury over the last few months. Um, as things stand, I fully expect Abada to stay at Celtic, both in the short term, medium term, and long term. And look forward to him being part of the Celtic team for the next few years. On a similar topic, good news that Celtic have at last opened up talks with Rocco Vata and his agent. It appears the input from his dad, Rudy, the ex-Celtic player, has convinced Rocco Vata that a move away to living abroad in Italy at the age of 19 is not the best of ideas. And it does sound like in recent weeks, Brendan Rodgers has gone back on his initial plans not to give Vata any form of extended contract. Rocco Vata has been training with the first team squad in preparation for the game against Bucky a few days ago and remains part of the first team training squad. You may remember at the start of the pre-season into the start of the season proper. At that point, Brendan Rodgers made a very big point of separating all the B team under 18 players and sending them back away from the first team squad to train as a unit, and hasn't looked in any way to incorporate the most talented players such as Vata, Mackenzie Carse, etc. into the first team squad since that time. But it does appear that Rodgers has had a change of heart, and it now looks like Celtic are doing what they should have done 6 months ago, and giving Rocco Vata an extended contract to keep him at the club for the next 3 to 5 years, to allow him to continue to progress. And I do hope that that all goes over the line. Stories coming out of Celtic and via Vata's family is that Rocco Vata is now keen to sign for Celtic, as long as there's some form of assurance of career progression, and I'm very hopeful that Celtic can get that over the line in the next week or so. A couple of other wee bits of news, not quite so cheerful. The goalkeeper Håkon Valdimarsson, Icelandic international playing for Elfsborg in Sweden, very, very highly fancied and admired all over Europe as one of the best up-and-coming young goalkeepers in European football. Celtic were said to have been interested in him, said to have made some initial inquiries. However, it does appear that he is on the verge of signing for Brentford for around about €3 million. And so it is very disappointing if that's the case why Celtic didn't pursue their interest, although the fact that Brendan Rodgers just a week or so ago, 10 days ago, said that Celtic weren't in the market for a new goalkeeper may have confused the board, the scouts, and the agents as to what Celtic does or doesn't want. On the same topic, rumours continue that Celtic and Liverpool are exploring some form of loan to buy deal for Kevin Kelleher. Kevin Kelleher has a couple of years left on his Liverpool contract, said to be £32,000 per week, and Liverpool are looking for a transfer fee at least 15 up to £20 million. I personally can't see a loan to buy deal given his £32,000 per week plus an asking price of 20 having any prospect of going through, especially as there are several English Premier League clubs such as Wolves and Brighton, who are said equally keen to sign him in the summer of 2024. And so I don't think there's any real mileage in Kevin Kelleher coming to Celtic at this time. One final loan deal to mention that is that West Brom have made a formal offer to take Mikey Johnston on loan for the remainder of the season. Appears to be a loan only deal without there being an obligation to buy at the end of the deal. The loan deal is apparently waiting approval by Brendan Rodgers, and I would certainly prefer, if Mikey Johnston was leaving the club, for it to be a permanent deal rather than a loan deal. This allows much more certainty, allows Celtic to look at restructuring things, promoting people such as Yang and Tilio to being more first team squad regular subs, or looking to promote one or two of the younger under 18 squads, such as Mitchell Frame, etc. However, I do feel, given that Mikey Johnston qualifies for Scottish and homegrown status for the UEFA quota, that Mikey Johnston will be back in the Celtic squad for the start of next season. But we'll see what we'll see. And final piece of news is an update on our players currently playing in the Asian Cup. Marco Tilio played for Australia as a sub yesterday in their 1-1 draw with Uzbekistan. That put Australia through as group winners, and so they should get a slightly easier last 16 tie. Japan beat Indonesia 3-1, so they'll go through from their group as the runners-up into next week's last 16 draw, where they'll have potentially a more difficult game, given they were second place in their group. Rio Hatate started for Japan in their 3-1 win and apparently played very well. A lot of key passes, tackles, interceptions, just shot on goal as well, and was one of the stars of Japan's 3-1 win. He was taken off in the 69th minute in a double substitution, and at the same time Daisen Maeda was brought on as a replacement striker, although Maeda was unable to add any goals or assists to the score after he came on. Both Oh and Yang are in the South Korean squad. They are again in action tomorrow, and they are currently in pole position to go through from their group, and so it looks like all 5 of our players away on Asian Cup duty will be away for at least another week or so. And given the relative strengths of Australia, South Korea and Japan, there's a high chance that all of them will qualify through the last 16 into the quarterfinals, and would fully expect that 1 or 2 of those will get into the semis, and the final keeping them away from Celtic for another 2 to 3 weeks. So that finishes things off for today. Just a final confirmation as things stand. Celtic appear to have rejected any form of offer for both Liel Abada and Matt O'Reilly, and the board, the club, the management, etc. are fully intending on keeping both of those players through the winter transfer window and for the rest of the season. And I think Abada and O'Reilly could be very important players in ensuring Celtic win the double this season. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Chat again tomorrow, and so goodbye and hail, hail.